AoE. Tank busters. Whole gang, split. Look for wave. Get middle. Knock back. Front left back right. Stack, bait puddles. Drop puddles outside. Front right back left. AoE. Stack.
Isn't you can?
Go outside. Front right back left. AoE. Tank busters. Full life. Kinesthesia. Front left back right. AoE. AoE. Look for wave. Get middle. Knock back. Front left back right. Front right back left. Stack, base puddles. Drop puddles outside. Front right back left. Front left back right.
Fuck, mate.
Continue.
Me.
Can you rest?
Caution available after.
I can now.
Just concentrate on yourself, Mill.
AoE. Tank busters. Whole gang, split.
A.
Front left back right. Front right back left. Line stack. AoE.
Elevate if you can.
AoE. Stack, bait puddles. Drop puddles outside. Get middle. Tank cone. Stack. Tank cone. Move in. Avoid defamation. Front left back right. Front right back left. AoE.
One DPS, please.
AoE. Tank busters. Stack, bait puddles. Stack outside, avoid flares. Go outside. Puddle tether on you. Full life. Kinesthesia. Front right back left. Front left back right. AoE.
I need 4 DPS.
AoE.
I'm gonna release 10 seconds. Delay your check a little. Awesome.
Juggle everything. Everything. Inundation is up, DPS. DPS. DPS.
Come on. Everything.
Go off! DPS. Oh!
Finally!
Oh.
Finally!
What the fuck was that?
Oh my god. Ed, you don't understand, Ed. We suffer a lot in this one. Finally.
Understand.
We suffer fucking a lot. Should be killed.
I
before
know,
we
I
can-
know. Okay, I know, but like,
No, such
Deep Shadow, by
Ed,
the way.
You don't know what we went through. You don't know what we went through, Ed. You have nothing to say
okay,
here.
Tuti, you take the twine and